What is inflation? The fact that prices are constantly going up is one of the most peculiar aspects of economic life, right? All it has to do is with inflation. In Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Darcy is portrayed as one of the wealthiest individuals in Britain. Yet incomes and prices then were remarkably different from those of today. His annual income was £10,000 in the year 1813. There is debate over whether a weekly income of £20 is sufficient to make you wealthy, and the answer is yes. For example, a movie ticket cost 30 pence in 1970, but today it is £13. That is less than half of what a primary school teacher fresh out of college would make. Want to find out more about inflation and how it affects the economy? Make sure to stay tuned until the end. Hey guys, and welcome back to another amazing video. As you all know, today in this video we will be discussing about inflation and all of the other tiny details about it. But before we head to our topic, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Economy Expert, for more such economy content. That said, let's get started. What exactly is inflation? And should we be concerned if it occurs? Governments closely monitor inflation and work to keep it low. A vast amount of data is constantly collected to ensure that governments can assess the situations with incredible accuracy, such as whether the inflation rate is on track to average 2% to 3% annually, or whether the increase of just 3.5% in February warrants concern. In the grand scheme of things, this is a very recent issue. The Spanish Empire nearly fell apart due to inflation in the 17th century without anyone even recognizing it was happening. Therefore, civilizations have become increasingly fixated on regulating inflation and preoccupied with quantifying it. So, why does inflation exist? There are essentially three factors that cause it to happen. The first is referred to as cost-push inflation by economists. Here, business expenses increase, which are subsequently passed on to customers. These increases may be caused by a variety of factors, starting with raw materials. Oil in particular may become more expensive for the very good reason that many nations are growing and prospering. Second, employees may be succeeding in their demands for higher pay, either as a result of their strong political organizations or as a result of inadequate training provided by universities and other educational institutions for workers to possess the necessary job-related skills. Thirdly, land rents may be rising as a result of the lack of factories and offices, which is frequently the result of political failures involving building permissions. As a result, firms may be raising prices to pass their additional costs along to customers. They do not want to make these scary decisions, but they are unable to stop it. Otherwise, they would cease operations. Demand inflation is the name given to the second type of inflation. When demand for something rises, but supply cannot keep up, this is when it happens. The most frequent cause of demand inflation is the otherwise favorable development of individuals being wealthy and having more disposable income. The government can therefore cause inflation by decreasing taxes. Tax incentives are popular because they increase disposable income. However, in the long run, increasing demand may also lead to price increases, erasing some of the tax break's initial benefits. In a similar vein, declining interest rates could result in both short-term happiness and long-term inflationary pressure. If interest rates on mortgages or loans decrease, we might be persuaded to take out a loan to purchase the new automobile we have always wanted. But the car business will soon jack up the price if banks and governments increase the amount of credit and cash flowing into the economy. However, if they are all vying for the same set of commodities as before, it simply means that they can all make higher offers. This is what took place in relation to housing in the UK, especially in London. There were roughly the same number of houses as they are today, but they are all absurdly more expensive. The third traditional reasons for inflation is the government's money printing. This concept has a subtle logic to it that may seem nearly criminal at first. Governments frequently try to boost the economy and provide jobs by physically printing more money, which they can accomplish by increasing the quantity of notes in circulation. The amount of money in circulation can also be increased by increasing government debt or by allowing banks to make larger loans against the same security. In each of these scenarios, however, there is a significant problem because over time, the value of each note starts to decline as more notes are competing for the same number of goods to be purchased. Even though there is more money available, it only drives up prices. However, economist and philosopher John Maynard Keynes both saw potentials in the situations. For a while, since it takes time for the value of money to decrease, there may be more money floating around, and since prices haven't yet risen, economies have a good chance of closing this window. People can actually increase their consumptions during such Goldilocks periods. Businesses have the money to invest in new equipment and recruit additional employees, which will enhance productivity. Before the increase is wiped out by inflation, there will be more things to purchase. Therefore, there is actual economic growth that can be attributed to some inflation. That's a significant yet divisive notion. The claim is that if salaries are increasing by 15%, it doesn't matter if prices are increasing by 10% annually. Therefore, purposeful government-led inflations may be a strategy for expanding the economy. However, it is a very risky move that frequently backfires and is attacked by the Keynesian economists' greater foes, now known as the monetarists, who think that anything that increases inflation is always going to be a problem and must be avoided at all costs, regardless of how short-term it may be. So why is inflation such a big issue, and why has it to be fixed? Is it true that everything expands at the same rate? It would be strange if everything increased by 100% annually. Everyone's salary increased and everything else was completely stable and predictable. However, it wouldn't truly cause any harm because not everything changes at the same rate. A jelly bean that costs 1 pence on Monday morning would consequently cost the equivalent of 150 pounds on Tuesday morning and 225,000 pounds on Wednesday morning. Hungary had a daily inflation rate of 150,000% in 1941. However, it would simply lead to other things not increasing as quickly, making it an issue. You would go bankrupt in a day or two if you kept your entire life saving under the bed. On Wednesday, you could buy a jelly bean with the money that on Monday could have bought you a house. Although this is an extreme scenario, it shows a fundamental idea: inflation hurts savings. It's unfortunate since saving money and having the mentality to wait to purchase anything before you can afford it are desirable traits. Maintaining low inflation encourages thrift, facilitates long-term planning by allowing you to predict what your money will be worth in the future, and rewards cost-conscious behavior. In the end, does inflation reflect the volatility of life and the world at large? Price increase as a result of our inability to govern the economy. It is a complicated system. It would be ideal to keep inflation under control with a more or less fixed amount of money chasing a more or less stable supply of goods, because there is always something wrong, growing, falling, or failing someplace. Low inflation is actually quite challenging to achieve because so many things may go wrong. Materials, labor, and productivity cost, taxes that are decreasing or increasing, exchange rates that are also decreasing or increasing, a developing home economy, a growing bordering economy. In the end, may we accept falling interest rates, purchasing of government bonds, or money creation? Similar to the weather or our own moods, inflation is something that is naturally very unstable and has ups and downs. Even while we work to reduce the extremes, we must persevere. Wisdom is the ability to deal with inflation. Now you guys know all about inflation. Ever thought about taking measures and precautions to avoid inflation when it arises? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel Economy Expert for more such amazing content.